Physical fights can be very bad.
Why would anybody even want to get involved?
I mean, why would anybody want to get into a physical fight?
What if you push the other person and he dies?
Death could happen. Like, it could literally happen. I know most deaths that have happened, it started like a physical fight. And these people, the person that actually dies could be the victim, could be the person that caused the fight. But nobody will want to know because
they are gone.
The person is gone. Hello and welcome to this episode of Teens Republic here on Anedo TV. My name is Gwacham Chidiogo. I am with Cheta.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
And today we are having a conversation on strategies that teenagers can use to avoid physical fights at all costs. I mean, Cheta, we saw that video of a girl, of two teenagers that they were engaged in a heated argument. It started with a push.
I push you.
And this one pushed back.
Me.
And this girl now came back with a harder push and she just fell on a chair. It happened that there was an iron and she hit her head on that iron.
But have you realized that those who even push first, sometimes the ones that even that go looking for the trouble, they have the less strength.
They have the less strength, but when the consequences come, nobody will be asking. Nobody cares.
Exactly.
About who started the fight. Nobody cares about what's going on, what's the matter. What the matter would be is that someone is in a critical condition, but God forbid someone dies, the person will go straight to jail because it will be murder.
The person becomes a victim automatically, even after looking for trouble. Once they are down and there's no way they can explain and you don't have an evidence, that person is not the victim. And
But truthfully, people can get to your nerve. It can happen, especially when in secondary schools. It can happen when you will just be on your own.
Let me share my experience. Okay, I was once, that should be my SS2. Okay, SS1, I moved to a new school. There's this particular girl. I'm sure she'll be seeing this video, so that at least you just know why I left her then. Oh. This girl was on my nerves. Like, in fact, she pressed my neck.
What did you do to her?
Let me say, because my mom's orientation then, if you get into a fight, they'll send you home, no school for you. But this girl kept on messing with my head. At every point, she wants to remind me how I don't speak well, how I sound like I have hot yams in my mouth,
she would literally say that to you.
She's saying it, but I know she's looking for something. She wants me to react to something. She wants to see how I feel. And then in my head, I just want to give her all the WrestleMania styles. I want to show her all the SmackDown, all the uppercuts, all the, all those, when you fight with boys, my brother will tell me, don't do your hand like this. You do like this so that when you give the blow. I just really want to show this girl how I have all those good skills, But no.
But most times, I think, when people push you, it's not really about you. Most times, it's about them. Some of these people are hurt. Some of these people has issues. Some of them may be going through a lot in their family. And they are just finding ways to express that. So it's not really about you. Maybe you did something to them. So most times, it's about them. I don't know if you get this now.
But it's not a good thing to do.
It's not a good thing to do.
It is not.
It's not a good thing to do because most times that reaction that you are looking for in that person, if it comes out, that's why some people, it's as if when they are fighting, it's as if there is something else that has possessed them. You see people that are fighting, and some people, they are willing to go naked. They are willing to do things in that moment
the rage.
Just to express the rage. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. It's not okay to say things, hurtful things to people like that.
It's even worse, like you're fighting with somebody and then they slapped you and somebody is saying it is okay. What is okay in the slap I just received? No, like tell me what is okay.
And you don't want to be in that position where you it will seem as if you are a failure or you are the last receptor of the slap.
They will not tell you, did you see the slap? That slap.
And they will mimic a sound. That why?
That's the worst part of it all. They say, even if you blow the person, but that slap. Now, more triggers are coming.
More triggers. This word you just said reminded me of something. For many of us, a lot of different things trigger us.
Yeah.
For example, if someone calls you a goat, in an argument, someone calls you a goat.
Don't call me a goat.
Nobody should call anybody a goat.
Nobody should.
That can get the worst from anybody.
Yeah.
But for example, now I'm trying to explain what triggers are. Someone can just call you something, and to that person, it's just an insult. But to the person receiving, deep down, it could be more. Maybe when the person was growing up, the person had issues where he or she always had that he's stupid or she's stupid, and she has grown up with that. And when people don't handle things and traumatic events, it can reoccur. It can come up because triggers could be a place, it could be an event, it could be something someone says to you that just reminds you of something. And when that thing happens, it takes your emotion to a place of rage where you just want to pounce on this person. Or maybe someone is having issues with parenting the father, and you now call the person a bastard.
I think it's like a Nigerian signature highest level of insult. You know, when the insult have gotten to the point and say, look at you, bastard. Like their English, the highest level of... There's another one, Nikompu. I think it's Nikompu.
What does that even mean?
Sincerely, up to this point, I don't think I know how to spell that word.
I don't use it.
Look at this Nikompu. We're trying to... want to show how good we are with English.
I mean, but we know that physical fights are dangerous. And what we are trying to say is that it should not get to that point where physical fight occurs.
But what about being in the place of trigger? Like, have you... You know, we've actually spoken about mine. Let's hear yours. Like, are there things that also trigger you? Like, have you ever been there? Something triggered you?
Actually, I have my own triggers, but I have not been in a position where I've engaged in a physical fight. I can't remember. I don't think I've been in a fight in my life. I know I've had arguments. I know I've had things happen to me, but I don't think, but the reaction, what it makes me do, these triggers, one is, because I used to be overweight. I used to be overweight. I'm still working on it. I'm still on a journey. But before, when I was not self-aware, self-awareness. When I was not self-aware, someone could say something to me. It might not necessarily come directly. They may just make reference to it. Like, for example, maybe I'm trying to get into a bus, and the conductor says something like, oh, you're paying for 2 seats. That does something to me. It gets to a point where it gets me to release so much negative emotions that I take it out to the street, I take it home, I take it to my customers, I just try to transfer it to everybody. And then I now find a way to be okay with myself. What do? I go back to food. You see that? I go back to food. I try to, when I understood about addiction and the reasons why I do the things that I did, I didn't know. When someone says such thing, when these triggers happen, I find a way to resort back to food. It was my safe haven.
Like why food?
I don't know, maybe that's because I was overweight. People would say even when I go on fast, sometimes I don't. As a matter of fact, sometimes I will be on a fast and people will still look at me and say like, it's like you're getting, and it hurts. It hurts. So what I'll do is I'd resort to food as a means of just being happy.
Yeah, since they say you're fat.
Yes, let me just go ahead and eat the food. Let me just go ahead and I took solace in sugar. Now, it's now that I got to understand that it's not helping the situation, it's actually making it worse, because it's an unhealthy way to react to such things when it happens, to react to such emotions. I always shielded, I always hid these emotions. I didn't want to talk about it. I was not even doing anything about it. I only know how to react negatively now. It's making me to go back to eat more food, consume more food, get the weight added, get people still talk about it. But now I understand the place of self-awareness. I mean, I've come to the point where I actually got to understand that my addiction to food then was not actually the problem, that the problem was the feelings I had when people talked about this thing. There was something it pulls up for me from when I was little. You know, the situation that happened, it kind of takes me back to that place. So when it happens, even though I am now an adult, then I would try to find a way to
Go back to
go back to,
yeah.
to something that would just make me happy. But now I understand.
So can we say food is your happy place at that point?
It was at that point, it was a very happy place for me. Most people would do so many other things and try to, but it was food for me. But being self-aware made me realize that it's not actually helping me. I was doing me a disfavor. This habit was taking a toll on me. But these days, I learn how best to handle it. And every day, I am making progress. And that's the goal.
And I was already looking beautiful.
Thank you. I'm on a journey. I'm on a journey. And now, strategies I think teenagers can employ. When you've come to that point, when someone says something hurting to you, when someone, you know that this thing is wrong. Take, for instance, someone gossips about you. You know it can be painful,
Very painful.
And someone says things that are untrue. You want to just hold the person. I mean,
how?
Like, come and explain to me. Most people that engage in a fight, it's not that they actually started off wanting to fight. They just want to ask questions like, why would you do this thing to me? Why would you say something about like this?
Something that's not true.
It doesn't make sense. And you would even see the person that has caused the offense. They will try to, make it look as if what you're saying is not really important.
Want to play the victim.
And they want to play the victim. And sometimes it can now get to that point where people fight. But I think physical fight is a no-no. Is a no-no.
That's why I think avoiding these things, people need to learn to stay away. Like, walk away. Why stay? Because staying there, you keep hearing lots of things that even triggers you the more. Somebody who called you a bastard and say, oh, okay, this bastard, you're not making a move. You'll be like, oh, your mom is this, your dad is that, this is...
Especially mom and dad. Nobody wants people to make reference to their parents. I think, is it a Nigerian thing? When people say your mama or your papa,
it's a general. Nobody wants.
I don't think
to hear their parents being talked down on.
Nobody.
No, so it's painful. I think staying at that place will actually make you hear lots of things you wouldn't want to hear. So walking away will actually save you more.
Exactly.
Will free you up more. You this person is saying this lot of rubbish. I don't want to listen to it.
It's as if you take out that time to just relax
and think well.
And think, because what these feelings, what these emotions, when they are evoked, they just want you to pounce. They just want you to react immediately. But when you walk away, when you take those steps backwards and just take a deep breath. Let's do that together. Like slowly. Deep breath. Breathe in through your nose.
Is it taking in?
Taking in. Inhale through your nose. Slowly. Pause. Now exhale slowly through your mouth. And when you do
that
this,
feels good.
Definitely it feels good too. When you do it again and again, you see those nerves. You see them relax. See them relax. And you can now think. Sometimes when you think, you realize that really it's not what it is. Are you seriously doing that?
I really need to calm my nerves.
It helps. It helps. Some have said you could count 1 to 10, 1 to 1,000.
What if I die?
You could not like holding your breath. You just count 1, 2. Just those things is just to give you some time to relax so that you can think very well. And another thing I think a teenager in such situations should do is to really apologize.
Apology is very hard,
especially if you are the one that is at fault. A sincere and honest apology can settle a fight instantly. Imagine you going up to the person to say, I am truly sorry. I didn't do well. I was wrong. I did wrong to you, and I'm sorry. But it's difficult.
But as sweet as this
most people will not do
sorry.
that. They won't do that.
I don't know what happened. Whatever it is, it's very hard. I think it's a Nigerian problem. Sorry, we are always mentioning Nigeria, but I think it's the thing. Somebody who is obviously very wrong, he stepped on somebody. It's not even too much to say, I'm sorry. So we even go to learn that. Let me match. Like,
as in, sorry,
no verse.
No verse. I beg. It's okay. Don't do.
The small match.
And you even see the apology try to bring out more anger.
Trigger.
I mean, that's
It's
no
even
apology.
better for some people not to even apologize.
That is not apology, and definitely that's not the apology I was talking about. I meant a sincere apology.
One.
And this apology, when someone is trying to apologize to you and they are sincere, you would know.
Yeah, sure.
You would feel that this person truly is sorry about.
But some people can be bitter even when you try to be very nice in your apology. You know, some people can be very, very.
Then you'd know that you've done your part. You know why we're having this conversation is anything that would not lead to a physical fight.
Exactly, that's the thing.
Anything that would not lead to a physical fight. I mean, and sometimes most times you just want to be on your own and you leave. You know, you talked about walking away.
Yeah.
You can decide to walk away.
And somebody run after you.
And you see the person run after you like, today, you know, you are going to show me, the fact, cross this, you are not going anywhere. And you are trying to walk away. I mean,
they can even hit you.
But when it gets to that point, please defend yourself. Please, self-defense is important.
Very much important.
Nobody should, if you've tried everything possible to settle this challenge, to make sure that it does not escalate to a physical fight, you can even involve an adult. If it's in a school setting, please make sure you go to your guidance counselor, talk to them, talk to your teacher, see what is going on, or involve an adult.
But you know, the funny thing about students, sometimes when you want to be good, you go to the teacher. At some point, I experienced it personally. They said, the same girl calls me a report card. This is somebody I'm trying to avoid.
Okay, report card because you've gone to report to the teacher.
Report her. That I was trying to avoid her to the point of even going to report her to the teacher. This is another thing that can trigger you, you know.
And she's trying her best to make you look weak. And all she's trying to do is to get that reaction where you get into a physical fight.
Go low with her. That's what she
And that's what we're talking about. So it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It's going to be it will take some level of emotional intelligence to understand that this is what this person is looking for. And I am not giving in to them.
Yeah.
Because ultimately what we are trying to do is to make sure you don't engage in a physical fight. Because even though you are in the right, it could happen that accidents could happen. And you personally could get hurt. Or you could hurt someone else. So all we are trying to do is to make sure that it doesn't get to that point where it's in a physical fight.
I also think that is when somebody is actually aware of themselves, when you're trying to be intentional about your actions, like you try to, you know this, and I have a friend. Before you want to talk to Stephanie, before you mention Stephanie and try to insult Stephanie to make Stephanie feel bad, she already pictures and positioned in mind and the kind of things you want to say to her. So she doesn't feel bad no matter what. If you like tell Stephanie, oh Stephanie, you're not fat, oh Stephanie, you look this way, oh Stephanie. It's like she's zeroed her mind already, because in her head, I already saw this coming. She knows herself. Those things you feel are limitations to her. She doesn't see it as a limitation. She sees it as her own beauty. And she doesn't let it get to her with whatever, if you like, mention. She's not very fat, so people always might want to pick on that point that I'll see how slim you are. But she's going to tell you that, yeah, she's super slim because she's a model.
Are you serious?
So you know now, in her mind, even though if it might get to her, but you won't see her break at that point.
Or react
again.
But now you talked about something, it just makes me remember something. The point is, you should not just accept those insults if it's an insult. You should make sure if it's something you need to work on, you work on it. We are not having a conversation to make people just get complacent or to just accept the status quo or to just say, oh well, because they have said I'm this, because they've said I'm that, okay, oh well, what's there? Well, I'm that. No. We are talking about improving yourself and looking for other ways to get better.
There are beauties, actually. There are beauties in some things that are our disabilities. People see as our disabilities. There are beauty in it. Because this particular girl keeps mentioning, the way I spoke at that time. It's like, oh, you sound this way, you sound this way. But can you believe right now, people used to say, Tata, I like the way you sound. Tata, I like, this is the same person.
I mean, take your flowers, you are now a presenter. Imagine that.
But people used to say, the way that particular girl, she'd be like, the way you talk. There are things people will see to them, they don't have it. So they want to make you feel bad for being unique in that particular way.
For being unique.
So it's your uniqueness, it's your beauty. You have to embrace the beauty in whatever it is you are. If it is something you have to work on, just as you mentioned,
Exactly.
you're working on it. Sorry, my cousin once told the other one, said, "Oh, Chisom, if you are as slim as Teta, you would have been very beautiful. But look at you now, you're very fat." Chisom, in her defense, responded, "Yes, Emeka, because I know you can never grow fat in your life." I'm not saying true tantrums,
Imagine.
but you see, two of them, they actually had something. They actually had something to hold on. So they had beauty in whatever it is we feel are our limitations. Sometimes our limitations can even be that particular skill you need to be in the right place. I think I heard Jadronita saying, people say she was sounding like a teddy, but now everybody...
The AI girl, that young girl.
Yeah. But see, then to some people, she was sounding very weird, but now she's making millions of it.
Millions of money.
Millions of money.
And I'm sure it's not in Naira. I'm sure it's in US dollars. Well...
Okay, you see, these things are things people actually go through every day, and people want to trigger you. People want to see how you react to things. Intentionally, they do it to get at you. They just do it to make you feel bad sometimes. Sometimes they say it so that they'll see your reaction. But I think some of these things aren't worth it. And just as we mentioned, you can stay away.
It's not worth it. Please stay away. By all means, avoid a physical fight. Yeah. Never let it get to that point where you engage in fists. Try to communicate words. Please don't use your fists, because physical fights are dangerous, extremely dangerous. And with that, we'll come to the end of today's episode of Teens Republic here on Ane.tv. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on all our social media handles. You have a voice, a unique voice. The world will hear your voice and feel your impact. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.